I am very, very excited to share with you the third chapter today. To remind you, so last week I shared with you that I came back from Mexico City where I was modeling as a young girl and it was all exciting. But every Israeli girl needs to serve 2 years in the army. It's something that you have to do. And I didn't have choice. I was in Israel, coming back, going back to the army. And now we are in the life in Tel Aviv, which I just shared a little bit last week. But I started to serve in the army. I told you that they heard my voice and they took me to serve as a receptionist of the general. His name was Moshe Levi. And I rented a flat in Tel Aviv, a room in Tel Aviv with an older lady. And she was, we're talking about many years ago, but she was so knowledgeable of food and health food. So it's funny that whoever knows me knows that I'm very much into healthy food, but it's all started there when I was already 18 and a half. So all that gluten-free, sugar-free that became fashion, I learned it when I was very young. And at the time, there was a new boyfriend. Ronnie was his name, was a surgeon, and it was a big love. It was a big love of my life. And at that time, things started to look a little bit better because I had love. I used to go to the army, few fashion shows. I decided, okay, I'm going for that competition. And we travel in Israel from town to town. And the finalist was to be in the Hilton in Tel Aviv. And what can I tell you? I was a soldier. So day before that, I was in the army. So I won the competition. The newspaper, always when you have Miss Israel, Miss Universe, you always have sponsors. So my sponsor bankrupt with the photograph of me with a winning and swimming suit. So I didn't really get the fame of Miss Water. I didn't have the right publicity. Sadly, I won the competition. I started to model quite a lot, and the love ended. Maybe Tel Aviv a little bit. I don't know if I'm a very loyal person, but maybe for this boyfriend that I'm in Tel Aviv and he's in Haifa and I'm coming back late at night from fashion shows, it didn't work and it's ended, and it was devastating. I lost so much weight. I was miserable because it's really one of the biggest life of my life. And yeah, and then it was just Tel Aviv life. Tel Aviv is very outgoing city. They call it the city with no break, but I'm quite a homely person, so it was not so much for me until one girlfriend that used to model with me in Haifa said to me, I want to introduce you to this multimillionaire that comes from London and see what you think. So why not? So I went and met him for a date, and it went quite well. We started to go out. He lived in the Hilton. I was still in the army. He went back to London. At the time, we didn't have mobiles, so it was letters or phone call here and there. But when you have a boyfriend far away, it's always like so romantic. So it was all the time the waiting. Then he came to Israel for longer time. He brought his Mercedes. So can you imagine me, a soldier, going to the army with Mercedes Sport? I'm always saying, where was my mistake? I should have come to London with him, finished the army, come to London, and then see if I like the life here, if I get on to live with him, and not rush for a wedding. But what you see today, don't care if I make mistake, all this confidence that you see today wasn't there. So if one of you that's watching is not so confident in many places, it's something you can gain. You can gain confidence. You can work on yourself. I was so insecure that I needed to get to London married, and I needed to have, I was a bit more materialistic than I am today. I needed to have the Rolex, and I needed to be a married woman. So that's what happened. So we got married in a lovely big place. The general came, the general of the army came, which was like a big thing. And that's it. And I'm a married woman, 21 years old, and then he goes to London. I need to go back in a few weeks, need to close all my life. I had a whole life in modeling, friends, family, flat. I had everything. I am coming to London. I'm coming to London. Now, I had a lot of thought before these videos that I'm doing. What do I'm going to say and what I'm not going to say. So what I decided, I'm not going to use this platform to say any bad thing, because it's not my style to say really, not good thing about anyone, as you know me. But all what I can tell you, so it will give you a complete understanding. In the honeymoon, we spoke about divorce. 21 years old, married. There was already speaking about divorce, and I was here in London that I love so much, but I didn't have anyone, and not my career. I was a career girl from the age of 16. I was independent. I lived, in many places in the world, and suddenly there is nothing. So something, I think when we are in situation that we are really not in a good place, we have a choice. We have a choice either to go very down or to find something to dream of something. So I belong to the people that like to dream and like to feel positive. So then I had a mirror in the living room. We had a mirror. So I used to stand in front of the mirror, and guess what? I was standing and dreaming that I'm singing in front of audience. And at the time, there was Top of the Pop, and I love George Michael. How can you not like George Michael? So I just used to stand in front of the mirror and sing Careless Whisper. So I'm going to sing it to you. I found a karaoke on YouTube. It's not exactly my key, but it doesn't matter. It will bring us all to the spirit of this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful song, Careless Whisper, that gave me all the strength to keep going. Ooh, 1 second, there is an advert. No. Oh. I feel so unsure as I take your hand and lead you to the dance floor. As the music dies, something in your eyes calls to mind a silver screen. It's all its sad goodbye. I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet has got no rhythm, so it's easy to pretend. I know you're not a fool. Should've known better how to cheat a friend and waste a chance that I've been given. So I'm never gonna dance again the way I dance with you. Oh, time can never mend the careless whispers of a good friend to the heart and mind. Ignorance is kind, there's no comfort in the truth. Pain is all you find. I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet has got no rhythm, though it's easy to pretend. I know you're not a fool. Should have known better how to treat a friend and waste a chance that I've been given. So I'm never gonna dance again the way I dance with you. Ooh. Never without your love. So that is just a little taste of Careless Whisper. So here I am, living in London. The marriage didn't last. They meant to finish in the honeymoon, but they didn't last more than 6 months because I don't like to stay in places that I am not happy. So I think by standing in front of the mirror and dreaming to become a singer, or just dreaming, I made it happen. And that is only showing how much is important to dream in our life. Who would imagine that I would sing in front of people that song today, and I sang it in few places. So that's the beauty of dreaming. That's the beauty of keep going. That's the beauty of, and it was so hard. I walked once in Hyde Park at, I think it was 10 o'clock at night by myself, trying to, I don't know what. So it was very tough. But as I said, but one thing I think that made me come to Israel, I had a little boutique that we created of fairs and leathers, and I was by myself there, and once there were people coming and trying to steal from my cash, without guns or anything. I was quite strong and assertive, but then I said to myself, I'm not going to just to go and have a boutique for the sake of it. And I went back to Israel. We didn't divorce. I just went back to Israel. The plan was that he will come and join me, and we will see if life in Israel is better. But after a few weeks that I needed to recover, I was 49 kilos, 49. I look like really a Holocaust survivor. I was in not a good place. So I needed to recover a few weeks, which was so nice to come to my family. But then he told me over the phone that he's not coming. So I said to him, right, you're not coming, let's divorce. And I think he was waiting for that, because whoever been through divorce, if it's come from one side, then, you cannot argue. But who wants to argue? I just want freedom. I want my life. I didn't want at the time to follow my dream to become a singer. Who would think that will happen? I wanted my freedom. So I divorced a multimillionaire. He was not as rich, but I'm not going to say his name, but he's considered to be one of the 21 richest people in this country. And he started to get all that money when we were married. And I got nothing. In French, you say rien. In Spanish, you say nada. In English, you say nothing. In Yiddish, you say gar nicht. In Hebrew, you say klum. But freedom was much, much better than anything else. So here I am in Tel Aviv again. This time it was harder because, I was already married and had a very high lifestyle here in London. So suddenly to go to fashion show, and as I confessed to you, I was not a top model. I was model, I had a lot of shows, but it was not like the most exciting time. So I didn't find myself. Also coming back from England, I think as much as I was lonely here, I tasted something of the England that I love so much today. So for 1 year, I went to Los Angeles. I lived there for a while with a romance, then escape, and then lived in Lausanne in Switzerland with a boyfriend that was very serious. And I studied a bit of French, which I hope to study more, but I love that time in Switzerland. There was something that I always remember. I was sitting with his mother of the boyfriend in Tel Aviv, back in Tel Aviv, and watching a program, let's say like Graham Norton. And there was a very famous Israeli singer, Yehudit Ravitz, one of the famous, fantastic singer-songwriter. Now, I'm not a singer-songwriter. The dream is nothing, just singing George Michael and few things in the bathroom. But I was sitting with the mother in the living room and starting to criticize that singer. How on earth, and people that know me like Christine and people that work with me in production know that I'm so fussy on any, Steve know it because Steve wrote with me a song. I drive people crazy. So the mother couldn't believe, who do I think I am that I'm speaking about her? But that was probably that all the knowledge was here. It just was not the time yet. So here we are. We're in Tel Aviv and I'm with my mother. One day we are in a cafe sitting and quite a handsome man is starting to talk with me. My mother always gets more excited than me because, mothers always like to get their daughter married, and especially that everyone knew who is that guy. He owned hotels in Israel and he was chasing me and chatting. I gave him the number. I didn't feel it's going to be something too serious. And then I was going out with actually another boyfriend that was a lovely guy. But this guy, the marriage came very quick and the wedding was already planned. This time 1,000 people, same place where was the other wedding, but a bigger hall. 1 week before the wedding, I just didn't feel right. I went to a psychic. Some of you maybe know I like to, I'm spiritual. I like a kind of esoteric stuff to extent. And I went to a fortune teller and she said, you have to get married. That means not cancel the wedding that I wanted to do. So here I am getting married. I have to say, to have a wedding with over 1,000 people that you don't know was a very hard job, but it was quite a nice, I was a princess, and it was a nice occasion. I remember it, and of course my family and friends really liked it, and that's it. So here I am, I'm married, but not every man liked that his wife continued to model. So I was really not modeling anymore. Now, I want to be very clear in this podcast that there might be people that will watch me. To live with, to be a wife of a millionaire, there is nothing wrong about it. It's also okay to be a housewife. It's okay to be whatever you want in life, as long that you're happy with. But if I had all this that is coming out of me in the last 15 years, I had it in, but they didn't had any expression to it. That means frustration. And then if you only live a luxury life, at that time I went to Russia, I shake the hand of Yeltsin. I was in Russia before people were traveling there. I was traveling all over the world in a real high society life, you know, and had hotel. And two things that I'm going to share with you. Number one, he rented the Love Boat Hotel. The Love Boat, you know, the TV drama, The Love Boat. So he rented it. And I brought my parents, so we went to there, and it was quite a nice feeling. Also, I must say, to my ego, because there were all these top models of Tel Aviv, and I'm suddenly the owner. So there was to the ego a little bit of massaging the ego, if you call it. So, okay, so I'm in the Love Boat, and there is how do you say, a band there, and there is possibility for me to sing, and I don't know how on earth I had the guts to sing in that boat in front of everyone that were there. You know, I was like someone that everyone, I was a host, but I had the guts to sing. Now, I remember I was shaking completely, more or less in tune, but I did it. And you know what was the good thing? There was a very famous model in Israel, Tammy Ben-Ami. She was the most famous. She came after and said to me that she had goose pimples. And I know that that's what I bring to music. A lot of people here that are watching me, that are my fans, friends, you are following me because there is emotions that come through me that is quite pure. So I've managed to do it in that time. And that was kind of the beginning of what we know that happened after. But I was not very happy. So, because I was bored. So we opened with his brother a business of jewelry. So I had jewelries in shopping center. And guess what? There was my little counter, and here there was televisions, and there was a top of the pop version of Israel. And I used to go and just watch it. So the desire there was bigger than I thought. At the time, I went to learn to paint. And Gringo, you asked me last time about my painting. I love painting. Actually, I have to say that painting can be even a bigger love, because with music, I write the songs so quick, but after you need produce them, mix them, master them, find the PR, find the radio. Painting, you are completely with that. So I love the painting. But then my painting teacher, she heard a demo. And she said to me, you need to decide between painting, or music. And what I'm going to say now will show you that I did decide to go to music because my two neighbors were very famous singers in the same building. One, Avi Toledano, won a Eurovision. One was more rock and roll. And I played them my demo. And one sent me to teacher that thought that I'm soprano, which I really have high vocal that I like using it as a backing vocal. But then I went to a teacher, she's the most famous teacher. And when I went upstairs, I was very famous coming downstairs, and I was like very excited. And she did to me the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. And she said to me, wow, you've got a really low voice. You've got the qualities of Koren Carpenter. And who could know then that it was the biggest compliment that I could ask to hear it. It took me many years to appreciate. So with that note, I'm going to sing to you Close to You now, because it's just such I love Koren Carpenter and that song. Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they want to be close to you. Why do stars falling from the sky every time you arrive? Just like me, they long to be close to you. In the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create dream come true. So they sprinkled moondas in your hair. The moon a blue. Ooh. That is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Just like me, they long to be close to you. In the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create dream come true. So they sprinkle meanness in your hair, in your eyes are blue. That is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Right. Oh, that's what made me decide that I'm choosing music, and that was the light at the end of the tunnel as well, because as I said, I'm not using this platform to speak about bad marriage or anything, but there is a lot of interesting stuff that when I was editing for you today the episode, I thought I will share with you next week how I really left the golden cage, how I worked with musicians and had to hide my jewelries, and the many things that happened before I came to London. So really, thank you so much for watching it and being there for me. Telling all that story is bringing a lot of memories, but it's good. It's catharsis. This COVID does to us anyway so much reflection and insight of your life. But the most important, if you're watching me and you have something that you just need a boost, I'm telling you, if you'll hear all my stories from what I started and where I am today, but what I've been even through that, everything is possible. So just keep going, because the keep going, you have to have hope, but the keep going is the action of having hope. So let me just sing to you one verse of my single that you know already quite by heart. Many people face doors slamming in their face. It's just part of being in the human race. So keep going, even if you feel a reject. Keep going, keep going. Don't let age, disabilities make you bitter. Show the world you're not a quitter. Don't let those dreams be dying in bursts. Keep going, keep going. 'Cause everyone has something to bring. Remember that as long as you live, and everything worth having was worth fighting for. Even if what we're going through, maybe we will say one day it was worse. In your room alone, don't let those thoughts bring you down and waste the best years of your life. Keep going, keep going. Don't let those ideas sit on the shelf before it's late and you regret. So take a chance and take a bet. Keep going, keep going. 'Cause everyone, Becky, has something to give. Remember that as long as you live, and everything worth having was worth fighting for. Even if losing sometimes feels sore, but remember, don't give up, don't give up, don't accept defeat. Keep fighting, keep fighting like auto repeat. 'Cause everyone has something to give. Remember that as long as you live, and everything was worth fighting for. Even if losing sometimes feels sore, everyone has something to give. Remember that as long as you live, and everything worth having was worth fighting for. Even if losing sometimes feels sore, so keep going. Even if you feel a reject, just keep going. Keep going. So keep going. Even if you feel a reject, keep going. Keep going. So keep going. Even if you feel a reject, keep going. Keep going. So yes, keep going.